I'm gonna give you guys a tour of the PPI basement laboratory. We're starting off in the garage just because there's a few items that can't fit in there, but let's get right into it. So first thing we have Cosmed Bod Pod, whole body plethysmography. Fun word to say. Pretty badass, I know. So we got a scale, we've got this calibration. So satisfying. Got this one at the University of Tennessee. And then we have another one back here from the University of Iowa Exercise Physiology Laboratory. You're probably asking, JC, why do you have two? One of them had software, one of them didn't. Ice bath setup, a few plyo boxes, slam ball, just some fun stuff in the garage that I can't exactly do right now with the Achilles tendon rupture. Next up, a rare one in the basement lab happens to be a metabolic cart. Looking at VO2 max, pairs up Bluetooth with our heart rate monitor. Of course, we have the gold standard Polar H10. And then just for funsies, we also have the MyZone switch with different adapters as well. But phenomenal machine, all sizes of the Hans Rudolph mask, Y valve. Doesn't get much harder than this. We have our blood lactate analyzer. This is by The Edge, great for both aerobic and anaerobic athletes looking at clearance and appearance of lactate, just to get those lactate thresholds. Although you can have this out in room temperature, we typically store these strips in a refrigerated unit just so that they can prolong their lifetime. So very fun tool. We use this in our exercise physiology laboratories, but this is my own personal one. We use a different brand in our labs. Number 3, we've got our NOx sensor, blood oxygenation, as well as nitric oxide sensor. I believe this is the first nitric oxide sensor for muscle. Very cool, very interesting. A lot of research is still needing to be evolved around this, but it's a fun toy. Next up, we got a fun one. We have the electrical muscle stimulation unit, as well as a transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, which is essentially EMS and TENS. But this one's by CareTech 2. We use these quite a bit in the outpatient clinic back when I used to work in the more medical setting. Still got some patches here. Super fun. I'll definitely be using these during my Achilles rupture rehab just to get that stimulation in my calf. All right, now getting into our force plates, because we have quite a few. Number 1 is our Pasco Scientific. This is the PS2141, typically used or reserved for academic use. I got this one on eBay, actually broken, fixed it, actually drilled a hole through to put a wireless solution in this model. Works perfectly great. Cross-reference it with my other force plates to make sure it's solid, but very, very fun. I just have this so I can have a higher sampling rate directly to my computer. This is one directional. Force plate number 2, we have this Veneer Scientific, typically reserved for academic use as well. It actually has a hole in the back, so if I ever wanted to mount this up against the wall, throw a slam ball at it, anything rotational in that aspect, this would be phenomenal for it. It's actually super sleek. I have not gotten the chance to use this one. I got a great deal off eBay, so you know I had to grab it, unfortunately. So, next force plate. All right, third set of force plates. These aren't actually mine. These are a good friend of mine, Garrett Peterson. Shout out to Garrett, out in Illinois doing some strength conditioning and sports science. He's doing phenomenal work out there. Please follow him. But these are the Vald Force Deck Lights, as you can see right here. We're looking at integrating a solution that's a little bit more affordable, usable without breaking the bank. So, phenomenal force plates, very robust, that's for sure. Case is massive, but hopefully I can get these squared away soon and get it back to you, Garrett. Force plate number 4, we have the Hawk Dynamics bilateral force plates with our Lenovo tablet and our 4-pin connector. I actually use these in research for my PhD, and this is my second pair of plates. I had another pair of plates. I recently sold them back to Hawk Dynamics, but phenomenal plates, phenomenal software. But in the past, I did own a Bertec plate, put a picture here, a pair of AMTI plates which sold to buddy John Evans. Shout out to John Evans, you took my babies. As well as a Sparta Science force plate, Force Deck Lights, Force Deck Minis. So I've kind of been around the block in terms of force plates. So if you have any questions about force plates in the future, just let me know. I've taken apart just about every force plate I've ever owned, including these guys. Next up, we have a very unconventional one, which is a Muse EEG electroencephalogram. Goes across the forehead just like this, so I'm not wearing a hat, but it measures brain waves during activities. Now, the only thing with this is that it has a lot of noise if you're in a busy environment. Typically, research with this happens in a very controlled environment, although that is a major reason why we have a limitation with any research related to this in exercise in general, especially with weightlifting. A lot of sensory inputs, such as blinking, looking, hearing sounds of different auditory nature, but essentially very, very fun using third-party apps to collect data from my cell phone or my laptop. Fun item. All right, next one on our list is a Jamar hand dynamometer, which is a very fun word. I'm probably butchering it, but that's okay. But this is going to measure hand grip strength. Gold standard is a digital unit. I did take it apart, although we will have a few other units coming on the way. Thank you, eBay. But testing on a few other items that we'll get to later that prove this to be useful. Next up, just in case our bod pods don't work, we've got our skin calibers by Lang. These are kind of the gold standard in terms of, oh yeah, the nice velvet case. Oh yeah. So my mother actually gave this to me while I was in college. So super cool present. Although they feel and look prehistoric, they're pretty darn cool. This is definitely the weirdest sports science item that you will ever see. This is a chimpanzee. Cool. Notice the hole at the top of the head. And this is a shark. And there's usually going to be a base to this. Why did I do this? I 3D printed these items due to my students wanting a mascot of a chimpanzee or a shark. With that said, I created a velocity tracking, what's the collar, taking apart items, a velocity tracking solution using their mascots just to show kind of some innovative spirit, garner their attention. Maybe they're like, hey, this guy's a super weirdo. I don't care. They noticed. Actually, we snapped part of it during the demonstration. So yes, these are velocity trackers. We've got a pretty hard magnet at the bottom right here. It would go through the top of the person of the chimpanzee's head to measure barbell speed. I know, strange, but also pretty darn cool. Our second velocity tracking item comes in the form of a LiDAR sensor by Calibrex. This was made, this is like one of the first prototypes about 5 or 6 years ago. Super cool. They have a different solution now, but it was really fun. These actually have a magnet you put at the end of the barbell. Obviously, I took them apart. Sorry, Calibrex. And we'll measure the bar speed going down and also asymmetrical differences. Next up, we all know what this is, essentially a Vertec. This is a wall-mounted version. I have made a portable unit so that it can be attached to a rack, hand winched around, measured from there, good to go. I do believe the hopper, the top hopper made a similar one like that. Way better quality. I really want it. It's very expensive though. Timing gates. Now these are by Timing Mate self-reflector system. So this is essentially 4 different segments, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 yards. You get the picture. But very, very cool. Still playing around with these quite a bit, but I recommend. This is a calibration checkerboard for non-marker based biomechanical analysis using iOS devices, known as OpenCap or Model Health if it's commercial. I'm not going to show you the cameras because that's just silly, but these are increments of 35 by 35 millimeters in set places, just so the calibration of the images from multiple camera angles and have a spatial awareness of where they are at and depict where the individual's joint centers are at while recording simultaneously. We have an S-type load cell up to 500 kgs, soldered myself to an ESP32 wireless connection with the amplifier. And yes, this is a very cheap solution. 500 kgs, and I essentially made it for less than $50. Great for any young sports scientists out there. We have a flying coder first prototype. I believe they are now associated with Athlo, but it has a small motor in there, does enable the pulling back of the cord during sprints, measures at any increments in terms of yards, meters, I believe up to 60 yards if I'm not incorrect. Why do I know that? I did get it tangled one time because I was taking it apart, I know. And there was a lot of line. It took me a few hours just to do so, but super, super cool. All right, another homemade item. I made a portable isometric testing rig for my force plate, the Hawk Dynamics. I had to get specialty materials in terms of an 18-inch crossmember attached to these uprights that were at least 30 inches long. I went to a skateboarding company, had a personalized logo of the PPI, Performance Physiology Institute, print out skateboarding grip, cut it in half, put it on the top so that the feet of the force plate wouldn't slide off. Made this all for around $65. Phenomenal deal, especially when you look at different substitutions that are well over $1,000. I believe the other one that I really wanted was like $850. I just don't have the money for that. So great solution. If you want the plans for that, more than happy to share that. I had to fumble around with it on my own, so if I can help you, just let me know. One of my new favorite items happens to be this Beyond Power Voltra. It is a cable machine up to 200 pounds of resistance. I absolutely love it. I do understand that it is pricey. As you can see there, PPI right there on the screen, you already know. Now this can do peak force output, measures different rate of force development, as well as a true asymmetric to eccentric loading, chains mode. I believe it has a rowing mode now too. But right now, as you can see, I can't get to the thing because it's not loaded into the dock. Additionally, I got another one of these brackets without this top portion and had a buddy, Brady Bird, shout out to Brady, weld my 5,500 pound pulling winch so that I could also attach that to my rack and play around with that in different scary ways. But shout out to Brady, really cool. He did a phenomenal job on that as well. But you guys have seen my winch. I'm not gonna try to haul that over. I'm kind of crippled at this moment, so give me a break. Recovery devices, we have the G3 Pro by Theragun. Now it's Therabody, back when they were Theragun. And I had this item, they actually sent it for free because I was selling them, was an ambassador athlete for them before they got really big. Next we have the Nike Hyper Boots, 3 modes of both heat and compression, up to 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It's really nice and hot. Reason why I got these, even though they cost an arm and a leg, was the fact that they do provide heat and compression all on the side of the foot and up the Achilles. Obviously we know about the Achilles, but I've also had 3 consecutive Jones fractures, which is the 5th metatarsal in the bloodshed area breaking. So I've actually had surgery on the same side as my Achilles rupture surgery with a screw. So these have been incredible with inflammation and swelling and just getting new nutrient-rich blood back to the areas of need. Kind of a strange one. These 3 basketballs are Spalding DNA basketballs. They are Bluetooth enabled. So on your iOS device, you can actually measure spin rate, make percentage, arc of the shot, all with this. It has a gyroscope as well as an accelerometer and a magnetometer, I believe, inside of it. I would only assume. I haven't looked into it, but I was using this to track during my basketball preparation before the Achilles injury. Was working on a review for this item. Unfortunately, due to the injury, cut some things short. So